Hello, everyone. Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Jeremy Leffler. I work in the policy office at the National Science Foundation, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to yet another session at the NSF Virtual Grants Conference. I'm now pleased to introduce this session, which will cover the programs in the NSF Directorate for Computer and Information Science and Engineering. This session will be presented by Ralph Wachter.
Welcome, everyone. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to join us at the NSF 2023 Spring Grants Conference. I understand we have attendees from all time zones in the US, attendees to grants administration, as well as current NSF PIs and future NSF PIs. Thank you for your interest in the work that CISE and NSF does. We'll take you on a brief tour of the programs that CISE manages with its partners. What is CISE? CISE is one of 8 directorates at NSF. CISE supports a broad range of research in computer science. CISE jointly works with all the directorates at NSF because computing technology is so ubiquitous in all the sciences and education. Let's start with a few statistics about CISE. The CISE annual budget is roughly $1 billion. CISE receives between 7,000 and 8,000 proposals each year. On average, as it varies year to year, CISE funds about 25% of all the proposals received. But some programs are very competitive and the funding rate is much lower. CISE makes about 2,000 awards annually. That translates into support for a lot of places, for a lot of students, and for a lot of researchers. This includes all 50 states and several territories. About a third of the institutions supported are the R1 institutions. What I find most amazing is that CISE funds 80% of all federally funded computer science at US academic institutions. Our mission and our mandate in CISE is to lead and to advance the science and technology of computing, support the cyber infrastructure for the broad research community that will enable and accelerate discovery and innovation across all scientific and engineering disciplines, bringing the benefits of computing to everyone. We do this through our sponsored research programs, our education programs, our research instrumentation programs, and our partnerships. In fulfilling our mission, CISE is responsive to aligning with the priorities set out by the National Science Board, the NSF Strategic Plan, and the administration's priorities for science and technology. CISE is led by Dr. Margaret Martinosi. Her title is Assistant Director of NSF for CISE. She's from Princeton University, where she is a professor in the Department of Computer Science. Dr. Joydip Kundu is the Deputy Assistant Director of CISE and a member of the Federal Senior Executive Service. Together, they oversee and manage the 4 units in CISE. Each unit has a separate and distinct focus, as well as programmatic linkages, not only within CISE, but also across and outside of CISE. Each unit is headed by a division director and a deputy division director. Note that OAC, the Office of Advanced Cyber Infrastructure, is not called a division. OAC was for many years an office that reported to the director of NSF until the early 2010s when it became a unit of CISE, retained its name and its focus on supporting computing infrastructure for all sciences, not just computer science research, but infrastructure support. So let's look very briefly at each of the units that make up CISE. The Division for Computing and Communications Foundations, which we call CCF, focuses on the really basic building blocks of computing, the algorithms, the chip architectures, the mathematics of computing, signal processing, but also new models of computing, which include, for example, quantum computing, and even biologically motivated models of computing. The Division for Information and Intelligence Systems, known as IIS, is about the interrelated roles of people, computers, and information, the social aspects of computing, particularly applications that require machine intelligence. IIS is home to the AI Institutes program, a major investment by NSF and the federal government to harness this amazing technology. And it's no surprise that IIS also co-leads with engineering the robotics program. The graphic is a great metaphor for IIS, where computing, intelligence systems, and people all meet. The Computer and Network Systems Division, known as CNS, supports new computer systems and network technologies and system architectures, while ensuring their security and privacy and our ability to control and direct these complex systems as they increasingly become part of our national critical infrastructure and our everyday life. CISE is also home to many of the CISE education and workforce development programs. The Office of Advanced Cyber Infrastructure, known as OAC, supports and coordinates the development, acquisition, and provisioning of state-of-the-art cyber infrastructure, the resources, the tools, the services essential to the advancement of science and engineering across the foundation. OAC has helped acquire campuses under the Internet 2 program. We provided computing access to scientists in all disciplines. This research depends on access to supercomputers and the cloud. OAC is creating an expansive high-end computing infrastructure and ecosystem for use by the sciences, not just computer science. Next, I'll describe a few of our many research programs and projects. I'll touch upon our core projects, our education projects, our early career development, our technology-driven research partnerships, and our international agreements. And there is much more to CISE than I have time to describe. The CISE core program represents a commitment to research the building blocks of computer science and technology. It's the heart of computing, communications, and networks. It is what we think of when we talk about computers. The core covers subjects of computer science very broadly. The core accounts for roughly a third of the entire CISE budget. So what is in the core? The CISE core is not a single program, it's a collection of named programs. Each division has a set of programs that they consider their core. All are listed in one solicitation. On this slide are the current named programs that are the core. I'll note that the CCF program, called Algorithmic Foundations, has been a core program for a very long time. The Foundations of Emerging Technologies is a relatively new addition to the core. So core programs change, but not that often. So what does a core solicitation look like? The CISE core solicitation is a 24-page omnibus call for proposals. For the researcher, the main concerns are: what are the deadlines, what are the budgets, who is eligible, and what are the topics? So we'll see the categories of the proposals are small, medium, and OAC core projects. All CISE research divisions, that is CCF, CNS, and IIS, accept small proposals anytime during the year, and medium proposals only in October. Meanwhile, OAC accepts only one kind of proposal, the OAC core projects, and only during October. To learn what the budgets are, one needs to look no further than this, look a little further into the solicitation to find the smalls and the OAC projects are up to $600,000 over 3 years, and the medians are between $600,000 and $1.2 million for a duration of up to 4 years. Eligibility depends on the submitting institution and the kind of position that the principal investigator holds. For institutions of higher learning, they must also be accredited in the US and have campus in the US. Also eligible are nonprofits, non-academic organizations like independent museums, observatories, research laboratories, professional societies, and similar organizations located in the US that are directly associated with education or research activities. However, if the proposal includes funding for an international campus of a US institution of higher education, for any reason, that must be explained why the project's activities cannot be performed at the US campus. For the researchers, they must hold either a tenured or a tenured track position, or have a primary full-time paid appointment in a research or teaching position. However, not eligible are those whose primary appointment is at a for-profit, non-academic organization or overseas branch of the campus. For the research topics themselves that are covered in the course solicitation, one goes to the program description, and from there you see that one is then pointed to websites for the programs under the various directorates or under the various divisions. CISE recently made core larges into a separate solicitation. Core larges can be multidisciplinary and address topics spanning interest of the research divisions. The large proposal is encouraged to address grand challenges. Proposals are invited to submit proposals whose total budgets range between $3 and $5 million with a duration of up to 5 years. The program is very competitive with only 4 awards anticipated every 2 years. The important point for large projects is that it must be clear in the proposal that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. That is, a large project cannot be expected to reasonably be done as several separate, smaller, independent projects. It's the collective that makes the difference. Another difference with the largest is project management and coordination. A special plan for that is required. It's a 3-page supplemental document. And the plan, by the way, is not required in a core solicitation for the smalls or mediums. I'd like to mention the broadening participation in computing program. It's a required plan for core, medium, and largest. NSF and CISE are concerned about opportunities for underrepresented groups and populations, especially to participate in computer science. The BPC plan is a start to raise awareness by PIs and their departments. BBC plans are currently required for CISE, as I mentioned, the core mediums and core largest, as well as for a few other programs, specifically cyber physical systems, secure and trustworthy cyberspace, and the expeditions program. I anticipate more CISE programs will have this added in the future. Please note that the BPC plan is not the same as broader impacts. They're related, but not identical. Broader impacts are about the potential of the proposed activity to benefit society and contribute to the achievements of specific desired societal outcomes. CISE does much in education and workforce development and promoting diversity and inclusiveness. The CS4All program aims to provide opportunities to participate in computer science education at the pre-K through 12 levels. This solicitation focuses on research practitioner partnerships. It provides high school teachers with the preparation and professional development and ongoing support, pre-K through 8 teachers with instructional materials, schools and districts with resources that they would need. In my opinion, it builds on the teach-the-teacher model. The program has an annual budget of $20 million and makes about 27 awards a year. With many CS majors with bachelor's degrees that have outstanding job opportunities in industry and elsewhere, fewer are pursuing doctorates. The goal of the CS Grad for US Fellowships program is to bolster the research and innovation workforce in computer science. The program is for outstanding individuals with practical work experience post-college and who now want to return to pursue a PhD in computer science. The program has 2 phases, a mentoring phase and an actual fellowship phase. The fellowship provides 3 years of support for graduate study. The support is provided to the university for the graduate student, not directly to the student. To be eligible, a fellow must also be a US citizen, a US national, or permanent resident by the time of the application. The CS Grad for US, in my opinion, complements the well-known and much larger NSF Graduate Fellowship Program. The Science Research Initiation Initiative, known as CRII, helps junior faculty in computer science at non-R1 institutions of higher education, helps them start their independent research careers. The eligibility requirements are very specific. The PI's department chair must provide a letter that attests to their eligibility, among other things. CISE expects to make up to 60 awards per year, and these are 2-year awards. The frequently asked question is whether a CRII is a prerequisite for a career award. The answer is no, but a PI cannot, in the same year, apply for a CRII and a career. The career program is a very well-known, long-running program, and it's NSF-wide, and it's also been covered elsewhere in the Grants Conference. I'll emphasize that it is a NSF-wide program to support junior faculty who exemplify the role of teacher-scholar. A career project, in my opinion, should start a research direction for which a career would be a major step and show leadership in integrating education, research, and scholarship. Several of our outstanding career awardees have won the highly prestigious Presidential Early Career Awards for scientists and engineers known as PCASE. Also, CISE offers annual career proposal writing workshops, which I'll mention next. These workshops are part of the CISE commitment to supporting the growth and development of early career faculty. CISE with the Computing Research Association, runs an annual career writing workshop, which has one-on-one discussions with program directors, mock panels, and more. Last month, the robotics program, as part of the robotics principal investigators meeting, invited aspiring PIs to attend the robotics PI meeting and participate in special sessions designed for aspiring PIs to the robotics program. It's an excellent opportunity to network and meet the NSF robotics community. Part of the cost of travel was underwritten by the robotics program, and we had approximately 60 aspiring PIs show up at the robotics PI meeting last month. The Expeditions program is a centerpiece of the director's portfolio, funding up to $15 million over 7 years per project. The Expedition project offers a compelling, transformative research agenda that looks ahead, at least by a decade, and promises disruptive innovations. Expedition projects are usually very multidisciplinary and size-oriented. The Expedition competition is held every 2 years with up to 4 awards per cycle. I'd like to mention one Expeditions project from 2009. Robert Wood's Expedition Award in 2009 truly kicked off his research career and his many awards for the next decade. The focus was on biologically inspired robots with micromillimeter scale features. In 2018, his team succeeded in building the lightest vehicle to achieve sustained untethered flight. The solar-powered robotic insect weighed under 90 milligrams, which is about the weight of a pumpkin seed. NSF has awarded over $13 million to 6 different universities, contributing to the RoboBee research agenda, spawning innovation in control algorithms, manufacturing, integrated circuitry, and more. He and his team have been awarded 6 US patents. He's also a 2010 PCASE recipient and the NSF Alan T. Waterman awardee. His work appeared in the cover of Nature magazine. His research is an intriguing example of the interplay between computing, biology, and engineering. CISE and engineering have a joint robotics program called Foundational Research in Robotics, known as the FRR. The slide shows the program's homepage with linkages to the participating directors and other partnerships, such as with the National Institutes of Food and Agriculture, NIFA, and is participating with several NSF international programs. The FRR differentiates itself from programs like the Cyber Physical Systems Program and Robust Intelligence by an affirmative answer to these 3 questions. First, is there a robot? Will a robot gain a new or significantly improved capability? Is robotics essential to the intellectual merit of the proposal? Multidisciplinary, multi-investigator, cross-disciplinary, or cross-directorate and innovative proposals are strongly encouraged. The size proposal is that of a small and medium, and proposals can be submitted at any time. The program accepts career, CRII, and engineering ERI proposals. The FRR used the NSF-wide program for rapid response research, known as RAPID, to support research 2 years ago. Robin Murphy, a well-known roboticist from Texas A&M, contacted us about working with Miami-Dade Fire and Rescue on site soon after the condominium collapsed in late June of 2021. The question was, could we rapidly map the debris field to find voids big enough and safe enough to allow access for search and rescue? The RAPID program allowed us to quickly stand up a collaborative team led by Robin of roboticists from Florida State and Carnegie Mellon. Their work was published in the IEEE Spectrum in August of that year, roughly 2 months after the disaster. The NSF Cyber Physical Systems program traces its origins to the research in embedded real-time systems. Since then, computing, communications, and physical devices have become more tightly integrated and pervasive in our critical infrastructures, especially in transportation, energy, healthcare, and the industrial base. CPS has a goal to make these systems more responsive, efficient, resilient, safer, and verifiably correct. CPS is a multidisciplinary, multi-agency, multi-directorate S&T program with international partners. We work with the Department of Homeland Security, Department of Transportation, NASA, and NIH. We also work with the science and technology agencies in Japan and India and others are pending. CPS accepts small and medium proposals. It also has a large category known as Frontiers, which get up to $7 million over 4 years. CPS program has spurred the creation and growth of exciting CPS adjacent programs, of which I count the Smart and Connected Communities program, the Civic Innovation Challenge program, and the Smart and Connected Health programs of CISE. Collectively, that's a $100 million a year investment. CPS is an example of youth-inspired research. The different applications reveal cross-cutting, fundamental scientific and engineering principles in CISE disciplines that benefit many disciplines and other many domains. It was said that the CPS program model was like a flower, where the petals are the application area, and around the body of knowledge are the CPS principles. Because of the pervasiveness of CPS systems in society, CPS is increasingly concerned with resilience, safety, privacy, fairness, equity, education, and human computing interfaces. CPS fosters a research community open to leveraging innovations from anywhere to advance the CPS goals. CPS has a vibrant research community committed to advancing research, education, outreach, and accelerating research into practice. CPS has a virtual organization that forms a hub for an online community with program resources that date back to almost the inception of the program. The virtual organization portal is managed by Vanderbilt University. New CPS-related solicitation on safe learning-enabled systems was recently released with the goal to foster foundational research leading to design and implementation of AI-enabled CPS systems in which safety is ensured with a high level of confidence. Learning-enabled systems will surely become part of more CPS systems, but without safety guarantees, the advantages of these systems will not be fully realized. What is unique about this program is that it has partnerships with 2 philanthropic organizations, Good Ventures and the aptly named Open Philanthropy Project. NSF is contributing $20 million for an estimated 9 awards over the next 2 years with a maximum award amount of $1.5 million. The Secure and Trustworthy Cyberspace Program, known as SATSI, is a flagship program at NSF for cybersecurity. The program, since 2011, has made nearly 4,000 awards, spending $1 billion on just cybersecurity. The program is highly interdisciplinary, multi-directorate, including SBE, MPS, engineering, and education. The program takes a socio-technological approach to cybersecurity. Like CPS, it adapts to new developments, particularly when that development poses a cybersecurity risk. AI, for example, is such a technology. SATSI isn't the only cybersecurity program at NSF. Many programs have security-related themes that are unique to their programs. The NSF Directorate for STEM Education also has a Scholarship for Service program in cybersecurity known as the CyberCore program, which is a great program with roughly $80 million a year. And that same program model is being extended to AI. This diagram illustrates the breadth of topics covered by the SATSI program. These topics touch major societal issues of the day. Lastly, I understand the program solicitation is undergoing a major restructuring for next year. There are well-established infrastructure programs, such as the NSF Major Research Instrumentation Program, with awards up to $4 million, and the Major Research Equipment and Facilities Construction Program, which is used for support of big science projects with awards starting at $100 million, such as for observatories. However, there is a middle range between $4 million and $100 million that isn't well served. The mid-scale research infrastructure programs, RI1 and RI2, were created to fill that gap and to streamline acquisition. The NSF Office of Integrative Activities oversees and manages the mid-scale programs. CISE partners with them. The mid-scale allow for a combination of equipment, instrumentation, computational hardware and software, data, commissioning, and people. The RI1 programs have an estimated budget of $130 million, and they expect to make between 5 and 10 awards. Proposals can be at most $20 million for either design or implementation. The RI2 proposals are only for implementation and are from $20 million to $100 million each. The National AI Research Institutes program, also known as the AI Institutes, is a flagship program for AI research at NSF. The program was established based on the National AI R&D Strategic Plan. The program plan emphasized the need for sustained investments in artificial intelligence with high potential payoff in terms of societal benefits and enhanced national competitiveness. The institutes are to spur the creation of industries of tomorrow and to train and educate that future workforce. Each institute is roughly $20 million. The program has had 3 competitions so far. There are currently 25 funded institutions involving 100 funded organizations with nearly 700 senior personnel. I believe this is only the beginning for the AI Institutes program. The NSF strategy for the AI Institutes calls for building a network of networks, a growing ecosystem of discovery and innovation that is inclusive and diverse as well as international. It builds on the AI Institutes, which are themselves very multidisciplinary and multi-organizational networks, and it connects them more richly to one another. It also builds out to underserved communities, to international partners, facilitated by a virtual organization and online communities that tie them together. Here's a preview of this network of networks as it's coming together. I'll mention 2, the MSIs, the minority serving institutions, and the international expansions. The Expand AI program is to build capacity and partnerships with the AI institutes that broaden and make for a more diverse and inclusive AI research community. The program has 2 tracks, one for capacity development and the other for partnerships between minority serving institutions and the AI institutes. The program has streamlined some processes, implementing several changes in order to lower policy-related barriers that can sometimes interfere with engaging with non-traditional institutions. Overall, the intent of the program is to diversify and strengthen the U.S. research, education, and workforce in this exciting new technology. Early in 2022, the AI Institutes program teamed with the NSF Office of International Science and Engineering to announce a supplement opportunity, the supplement program for existing AI institutes that would add significant international components to their activities. NSF and the Department of Agriculture funded 10 supplements with researchers in these 16 countries. I'll also briefly mention an AI-related bilateral agreement with Australia that does not involve the AI institutes. NSF and the Australian Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization, known as CISRO, welcome proposals from joint teams of US and Australian researchers on responsible and equitable AI. The focus on accelerating use-inspired research in AI to societal challenges, including pandemic preparedness, drought resilience, and harmful environmental emissions. NSF and CISRO announced the first round of awards with a combined value of over $3 million. Proposals were submitted to the CISE core solicitation for the Human-Centered Computing Program. The CISRO chief executive said, CISRO is proud to stand side by side with the NSF, committed to responsible and ethical AI, not only through our own research, but by catalyzing new opportunities across the ecosystem. There's much more to CISE than I have time to describe, and I'll leave you with a few closing thoughts. Computing is a major force in scientific discovery and innovation, national competitiveness, and society. The CISE portfolio reflects this breadth. CISE partners with many industries, nonprofits, federal agencies, state and local governments, international agencies, to grow the CISE research and education ecosystem. Computing is everywhere. It's an integral part of our society, and the opportunities created by computing are rapidly expanding and are ever evolving. As a director might say, it's an amazing time to be part of the CISE community.
Okay, welcome back, and thank you, Ralph. I know, Ralph, you had a couple more things you wanted to mention before we get into some additional Q&A.
Thank you. I'd like to make a few additional comments. So the requirements for solicitation matter a lot at the submission. The due date may change if there are unusual or unforeseen circumstances, such as the major weather event in a region in the US, and NSF will make an announcement. And if the checklist of items aren't met, the proposal may be returned to be fixed within a few days, or just returned without review. solicitation or a program announcement may change from year to year. So keeping track of where things are is important. So they may add a new outside partner. They may add new NSF divisions to be a participant. And it may also change to adjust to a concern or need by the community. So for example, the CRII program initially started out as for any university, but now it's only for non-R1 institutions, and an NRI cannot apply for a career at the same time. I don't know about other programs such as the ERI, but I will look into that. So also for next year, the robotics program, the FRR program, is considering changing one of its criteria, in part a response to the community that raised a concern. So it would broaden participation within the robotics community. All right.
So we've, Ralph, you've answered a lot of questions in the Q&A, and there are just a couple of questions. We have just a little bit of time, so if you do have questions, please submit them now. I'll just go through these that have come in. The first one being asking about the secure and trustworthy program, whether they should be choosing CISE or SBE or other directorates and divisions in deciding where to submit or direct their proposal.
Several of the programs overlap. So it's best to talk with the cognizant program director, the one that they lead for that particular cluster, to understand where it would best fit. So in the case of SATSE, it has quite a few participants, including SBE, including education. So I would suggest talking to the cluster lead for that. And if not, then contact the lead for that particular division.
Okay. The next question is asking about early career opportunities for folks that work at nonprofit research institutions rather than having an affiliation with the university. Are you aware of any specific programs in CISE for this person?
Well, you said it was non-career?
Early career, yeah.
Okay. Yes, I believe the career program allows for places like independent research laboratories that are nonprofit, museums, for example, and for professional societies that are closely connected to education and research.
Right, and that the career solicitation has some very specific eligibility criteria. So you want to make sure when you're looking at that solicitation that you are taking in all of those eligibility criteria for that solicitation. Next question is asking about middle school teachers who are interested in starting a robotics program in their school. Is there a program in CISE that involves middle and high school students or their teachers?
I would suggest talking to Jeffrey Forbes about that. And then we can coordinate with the robotics program on it.
Okay. Again, on the NSF website, you can find everyone's contact information. So if you can navigate to your to the area that aligns with your discipline or your area of expertise, and find the program officers for those programs, you'll find their phone numbers and their emails. Probably best to start with an email when trying to meet up and get a question answered. I see there aren't any other questions at the moment. Ralph, you have put in your contact information into the chat. So if you do have follow-up questions for Ralph, please feel free to reach out to him directly. I want to thank you for attending this session. Thank you, Ralph, for presenting and taking your time to relay information about the CISE. Thanks again for joining us today. There will be 2 final sessions tomorrow covering updates to NSF systems and also a session on covering proposal and award policy updates. So hope you're able to attend those. Take care, everyone, and have a great day.